We're going to reorient the court so it will look different when you walk into the building, and we're removing the track so the seats can be much closer to the floor.
Hi there, it's WAMC News Director Ian Pickus. And on this episode of the WAMC News Podcast, we speak with the University at Albany Athletics Director Mark Benson about major renovation plans for the basketball arena. Construction on the project, announced Monday, begins in August and is scheduled to be completed in November 2023. The SUNY school says the $12 million project will be paid for entirely with private funds, with $8.5 million already pledged. UAlbany also announced a separate $2.5 million plan to upgrade the adjacent physical education gym. Can you break down the scope of the project? What's on the table here?
Yeah, well, it's really exciting for UAlbany, our basketball programs, our athletic department, and I think the university as a whole and our relationship with the Capital Region, because this is really going to be a game changer for us. And so essentially, if you've been in SEFCU Arena, we're going to take the interior seating bowl and we're going to completely gut and take everything out except for the high-definition video board that we have in place. And we're going to reorient the court so it will look different when you walk into the building, and we're removing the track so the seats can be much closer to the floor. And currently in the arena, most of the seating is bench seating, which is not very comfortable for people. And in this new renovation, roughly 85% of the seats will have chair backs, with the exception of one section for our students. So they're going to be much more comfortable seats, wider seats, better sideline, and really new hospitality opportunities with loge seating, some corner hospitality for groups, for businesses that want to bring clients, customers, for people that want to come and have something to eat and drink. There'll be some new hospitality options for our fans.
And is it my understanding that the capacity will drop from somewhere in the 4,500 range to 3,800?
Yeah, that's correct. As I mentioned, with the chair back seating, the seats are going to be wider and they're going to take up more space, so the capacity will actually drop. But we feel like with 3,800 seats, that's a perfect number for our basketball program, for community events that we have. So while the capacity drops a little bit, the amenities are going to be greatly enhanced.
You know, SEFCU Arena has had a series of upgrades over the decades. People will remember the old Recreation and Convocation Center. How does this fit into the needs of your athletic department, this latest renovation?
Well, I mean, it's going to meet so many of our needs. From a basketball standpoint, when we're recruiting prospective student athletes, we'll have a showcase facility to use in our recruitment efforts, because high school students coming out, transfers, a lot of times they buy with their eyes, is the saying, and so it's really important that your facilities are first rate. And so this will help us boost our recruiting efforts. From a fan perspective, it's just going to be a completely different experience and a much more enjoyable experience. When we're in the middle of the winter here in January and February, and the weather's terrible outside, and you want to come in and watch a basketball game, it's a great product on the floor, great atmosphere, but not the most comfortable. If you're a business owner and you want to come and enjoy and bring clients or reward your employees, there have not been a lot of options for you in terms of hospitality. We're meeting that need. And I think just for the greater Capital Region, for non-basketball events, we have a lot of events that come through: high school graduations, job fairs, youth sports activity, youth group activity. So just the overall experience in showcasing University of Albany is going to be a win for everybody.
What about the other project I mentioned, the PE gym? What will happen there?
So the PE gym, we currently use that space. We do conduct basketball practices there. Occasionally our softball and baseball teams will come indoors and hit in the winter. And it's the primary home for our volleyball program. So if you've ever been to a UAlbany volleyball match, it is a terrific atmosphere, a lot of energy. It's very loud, it's fast-paced, it's fun to watch. But again, the bleachers are mostly wooden bleachers. They're kind of far removed from the playing surface. So this is actually going to put a new surface in, brand new bleachers in the arena, tons of new branding and graphics. So when you walk into the space, it's really going to catch your eye and sort of that wow moment when you come in, and is really going to be a boon for our volleyball program as well.
Okay, now let me ask you some hard questions. Where are the basketball teams going to play this upcoming season?
I thought you were going to answer that for me. No, we're very close to finalizing our plans for the next season. So I think we'll have some more to come in the very near future about where we'll be playing the games.
And if I'm looking at the calendar right, you're going to have one full season where SEFCU Arena won't be available. Is that right?
That's right. If everything goes well, the construction here will start in August, and I believe we're shooting for September of 2023 to complete. So that would put us right in time to start basketball practice as we head into the season. So it should just be one season disruption for our players and for our fans, but as I think well worth the wait for the end result.
Okay, SEFCU and Capcom have announced a merger and they have a new name. So is the arena going to remain SEFCU Arena?
Well, we're working on the details of how that how that will be rolled out. But SEFCU, they have the marketing rights for the naming rights, and that remains with them. So as they roll out their new brand, we'll work with them to roll out a new branding for the arena here.
Have there been discussions about the possibility of a different conference tied to this renovation project?
I wouldn't say anything tied to the renovation project. You know, if you pick up any paper or listen to any podcast to do with intercollegiate athletics, there's probably a conversation about conference alignment and membership. So it's something that we're always paying attention to. We're very pleased with our affiliation with America East. We're very pleased with our affiliation with football. With the Colonial Athletic Association, as well as our women's golf. We're actually in the MAC, the MAAC. So we have three different conferences. America East are primary, but nothing that's tied to this arena renovation.
Okay, I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but it sounds like conversations are happening prior to this renovation announcement.
Well, I think for the last 2 years, really, once we got into COVID, and I say we collectively across the country, you know, when you start looking at travel, where you're going to play, who you're playing, missed class times, it caused this conversation to happen. You've just seen it with UCLA and USC leaving, the SEC's taking on some teams. So there's usually a domino to that. So I think as a college athletic administrator, you always need to be abreast of what's happening nationally, what's happening with your own region, your conference, and just always be prepared to place your program in the best possible place, and we feel we're in a good spot.
Lastly, you know, the women's basketball program is coming off an America East championship and a trip to the NCAA, and you're in your second year with the new men's basketball coach. Is it your expectation that those teams can have successful winning seasons this upcoming year without having their regular home building available to them?
I mean, it certainly, you know, it creates a few more challenges. It's, you know, there's a reason you call it the home court advantage, because you're used to play. You practice there every day. You play there every day. Your fans are there at your games. It's somewhere you have a great level of comfort and a lot of great energy. So it certainly is going to be different. You know, our hope is that our fans come watch us play wherever we play for this 1 year, and that we work through it. So I definitely think that a winning season for both programs. You know, Colleen Mullen has done a terrific job with our women's basketball program. This past year was the first year where she and her staff recruited everybody on that roster, and it coincided with her first NCAA appearance in conference championship. So really excited about the direction of that program. Coach Killings came in, great energy, great enthusiasm. I think we were one game out from being able to host an America East playoff game, which we haven't done in years here. So I definitely think he and his staff have done a tremendous job. I'm very excited about their future. And while this is going to be, you know, a little different for all of us, players, coaches, fans, we're going to get through it together, and the end goal is to come out on top.
And the suspension that Coach Killings went through, is all that in the rearview mirror now from your perspective?
Absolutely. Just was facing forward, really excited about the upcoming season and for both the men and for the women, and really excited about the state of our basketball programs at UAlbany.
That's University at Albany Athletics Director Mark Benson speaking to us about plans for major renovations to SEFCU Arena. Mark, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us.
Thanks, Ian. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.
All right, that does it for this episode of the WAMC News Podcast. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, I'm Ian Pickus.